this is a single malt whiskey from ASW Distilleries.
Yeah, Atlanta, Georgia.
In Atlanta, Georgia. It's called Tire Fire.
Non-chill filtered.
Non-chill filtered, 45.5% ABV, $50 in total wine.
45 ppm.
Let's give it a
45.5.
Let's give it a
It's
nose.
interesting.
So it's interesting because we found this bottle on our shelves, and I think I bought it when I was at Total Wine, but I don't remember the story. So the cool thing is, this is we just cracked this bottle. We do not know anything about this whiskey with respect to flavor or palate or anything. You're gonna see it.
So that's what's nice about this is it gets into our wheelhouse of exploring what we loved in Scotch, but in the American single malt, well, single malt right now genre.
We know it's 100% peated barley from Inverness, Scotland.
Yes,
and they have, I believe, 2 copper pot stills.
Nice.
So we will find out how we feel about this.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Shall we smell it?
Yeah.
Let's do this. You look confused.
No, when I was listening to what you said, so it's all the peat comes from Inverness, and I'm like, okay, where is that located in Scotland? It's in the center of the island, right? We've been to Inverness. That's not really a region known for its peat, right? We've got Isla, we've got Highland, which I guess Inverness is considered Highland region, so it would be a considered out. But when I hear Highland peat, I think of North Highland, right? I think of Orkney. I think of, but so I'm curious to see what this peat brings to the table.
It's went
Well,
good enough.
It's fruity.
It is.
So I'm getting like biscuits and like fresh grain.
You just popped a thing of Grand's biscuits open.
So
and you get some fruit on top of like apples.
It is a non-age statement, so it's probably a young whiskey.
Well, being in the
smells a little young.
It's got a weird like grassy, almost rye note, like a licoricey note to me on the nose. But it's also got like some marmalade and biscuits and stuff. So it's an interesting.
Are you getting peat though? Are you getting peat?
I'm not getting peat on the nose, but I will agree with you on the licorice. That is a.
So when you were pouring it, some dripped out onto the table and stuff, and I wiped it up and I got it in my hands, and I got really strong peanut smell on my hands. And that's usually reminiscent to like an Ardbeg for me. But I don't get that on the nose in the glass.
No,
not at all.
Well, I'm ready to taste.
Yeah,
let's do it, man. Let's get in.
Whoa. Oh. Hey.
Different.
That is
nice.
That's got a lot coming at you, actually.
There is a lot.
There's some moving parts going on.
It was sweet. Like the initial palate tasted just like it smelled to me. Like it had the fruit. It came through really good with the fruit notes. And then that grassy, like little bit of licorice thing came. And then the peat came.
The peat kicked in that late to mid palate. Sure did.
And
it's almost an earthy ashy. There's some earthiness to it, but there's a little bit of like char on the finish.
I can see why they called it Tire Fire. Like it almost is like that overwhelmingness to the smoke for just a quick second. Like, that acrid, like just kind of hits you in the face. And then it faded out and the finish was actually pretty nice.
Yeah, finish is pretty soft. It's a soft peat on finish.
But it's fairly long though.
Oh, for sure it's long.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not like acrid burning through the finish. The finish is nice. Peat it just delicately carries out.
There is something on the palate though that it's tad off-putting for me. I don't know what it is yet. I don't know if it's
green.
It's like almost greenness,
like a green grass of some sort.
I almost want to say that it's where they made the cuts.
Maybe,
and they just got like either a little bit of the heads or a little bit of the tails left, and they might have done it on purpose, but it's got like just a tangy. Just kind of a different note to it.
Yeah, it's a little, maybe a little bit too close, too tight on the heads for my taste. But so it does have that biscuity young, almost new make palate on there on that initial palate. It finishes much better than it starts, I think. But it's pretty close. It's a pretty close whiskey for a non-age statement. It's probably
keep going.
It's probably 18 months old. Well, actually, I'm not going to state that for the record because I don't know how old it is.
You're making a guess.
So $50. It's a single malt whiskey, which makes it more expensive because the grains are more expensive. Copper Pot Still Distilling. So I'm not going to give this a really high score because it's not really well done. It's got some edges, some of that off-putting on the initial palate is a little off. I would drink this every day. I mean, this could be a daily drinker because there's definitely nothing off-putting about it. It's reasonably priced for a single malt whiskey. It's probably a 2.5 because it's interestingly
okay.
The palate is interesting to me. I enjoy it. It's not your everyday whiskey. I can't compare it to anything, but I enjoy it. So I'm going to give it a 2.5.
I think the name is perfect for it. Honestly, it does kind of have a tire fire kind of like, what is that? Something's going on with it. I think to me, the one word I will say that describes this is young. It tastes young to me, like it's trying to come out, like it's got some potential to it. Like, oh wow, there's nice little sweetness, there's some fruitiness to it. There is a nice little underlying peat there. It lasts long. It's got some moving parts, but there is a middle foundation in there that's just a little too. And I like your word green. I don't know what else to describe it. It tastes a little like young, whatever it is, and I feel like it's overpowering what I want to get out of this. Maybe if it, a couple more drinks in, or after it sits for a while, it gets better. It's got potential. I don't mind it. 55, 50
yeah, between 50 and 60 was what I saw.
I don't think it's a bad price for what you're getting. I think it's a solid 2 just coming out of the gate because I feel like it's deserving of what it is, and what they're saying it is. It kind of says that right in the bottom.
It's not bad.
So
Pretty on the edge.
I got it's an interesting. I think young is a good way to describe it because to me the fruit notes are really good. They're very well done, and I enjoyed that part. Like it's like a marmalade-y, almost like overpoweringly
Great word.
Sweet, And then the licorice, I got licorice, and then when I put water on it, I also got burnt popcorn on it, and so it's just like a little bit of, I don't know if it's from the peat or what, but the peated part itself is actually a little bit, I don't want to say overpowering because it's not the strongest peat that I've ever had, but it does kind of punch you and then let you go. I honestly think that this would be a really fun whiskey to play around with cocktails,
For sure.
like different bitters and, maybe some like,
I'll give you that.
honestly, just
I'll give you that.
put a little bit of ginger beer in there and let it kind of like the fruit and the smoke play out with the ginger and see what happened.
Yeah.
I think it's got a lot of potential to do a lot of things. Maybe not drinking it neat. Maybe that's just not its wheelhouse.
No.
But honestly, it's not bad. So I'm going to give it a 2.5. I think that it's got potential.
Yeah.
What'd you give it? I'm gonna bring it back down. The middle is killing me. There's that whatever's going on in the middle of that. It honestly tastes like I'm chewing on some like green barley. Like it's. I just pulled it from the field and I chewed on it, and I'm not fond of that. And I do appreciate the finish. I do get a little bit of peat on there. I will say that after taking a drink and then going back and nosing it, I get a lot of sweetness on the nose, and I enjoy that. I think you're right. It would be much better served mixed somewhere. This is not hitting my spot neat. And I did put some water on it. I will say it's very thick on the glass. I was looking, rolling around, and I was like, man, it clings to the glass. It's very thick to it. But I got to give it a 1.5 because you might be a daily drinker for you, and it's not a daily drinker for me.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Very good.
So does that bring us back to like a 2?
A 2. Well,
Hell, not. It's a little over
2.2.
2. A little over 2.
Yeah.
2.125 maybe.
That's a pretty good guess for a scientist.
So
So
Fire by ASW Whiskey or Distilleries, Atlanta, Georgia.
Single malt, man.
It's an American single malt, and I praise that.
Yep,
I'm happy to see those.
I'd actually be interested to come back and try some other stuff.
I like to try their stuff. It's cool.
So there we go.
Well, cheers,
Cheers, everybody.
2,
1.